Yo, what is up? Today I'm gonna be running this thing. If we go to PvP statistics, Cryogonal has whatever this win rate is, and we're gonna try to play around with this thing on ladder. The reason why is because it's really awesome. Um, as you can see, this thing has spin and screens and ice beam. So I mean, what I was really thinking was just, Chomp is so prevalent right now that having this thing would just be an anti-lead, and that's about it. So we're running some screens mons. Shout out to Middle American, whoever the fuck that is. We got this Braylum, the SD set, but we're just trying to see if we get some sweeps going. Also have this got this analytic reflect Starmie. I might change the nature. We'll see how analytic goes, especially with the screens coming in on it. But I mean, the plan here is it's a little hyper offensive, but we'll see what ends up happening. So they have a shiny Mienshao. The question is, are they gonna lead it? And the answer is, I hope not. So they lead with Meloetta. The one nice thing, there are a couple nice things about Cryogonal, but its speeds here is actually not bad. So we should be able to get a light screen up before this does anything. Okay, they are physical. That is interesting. Well, given how they are physical, I will go into my chomp and get some stealth rocks up. Relic Song does 17. That is pretty abysmal. So sadly, Cryogonal died turn 1. But it does not mean this is over at all. I also don't think they remembered what everything in relation to this thing. I mean, 51's pretty bad, but Dragon Tail takes this thing out, and they're probably gonna go Pelly. They go into Mienshao. If this doesn't kill, okay, so they go to Mienshao. High jump kick. I don't know if Stone Edge would connect. This is a really strange game right here. But I think we can just DD and win. So I'm gonna try it. It's a very cool shiny Mienshao from the... Oh! The opposition goes for a high jump kick, it seems. Yeah, this might be... this might be a wrap, my friend. I have a Lumberry, which means that I don't have, you know. And is Kingdra base speed 85? Dragon. You know what? YOLO. I'm gonna go for Dragon Claw. You take out Cincino. Part of me wants to DD up on this thing, but I feel I've got to respect the Ice Beam, and that's just what it is. Patty Button. Patty Button has passed. Kingdra comes in. I'm clicking E-Speed. We do 78. Find out if it's life or... Okay, they go for Draco. They are life orb. If they go into Mian Shao, I go into Starmie. This is a bold Starmie. I am very surprised they did not go for Stone Edge when I had Dragonite in, but not really complaining. Because that... I understand why they didn't want to go for that. Because the miss would have sucked. And now, I believe with Rain up, Scald will break sub. And they just go for Leaf Storm. Which means Volcarona should be able to clear up. I'm faster? It didn't kill. Bulky Serp. Is this thing careful? How strange. Cryogonal's sacrifice was not made in vain. That game. Big shout out to Cryogonal for carrying. Nah, but for real, that was a pretty bad game. I don't really know what happened there. Some games like that leave me super confused after. It's like I'm playing against a team that's good, but also just trash at the same time. Like what were they doing with Meloetta there? I honestly have no idea. Then again, I was using a Cryogonal, so I guessed I understand why it makes no sense. I might keep in these sections between games of just when I'm waiting around. Like maybe it's not that like entertaining at one point in time, but this is the whole vibe of whatever I'm going through, and part of me wants to justify it because I can be lazy and not edit the videos, but also, I mean, I don't know. I'm gonna post this one without editing it really at all and just see how it performs. Maybe whoever watches it, if you want to let me know how it goes, So I'm leading Cryogonal. It's terrible this game. If if I don't get set up on, then we're doing something right. Okay, so Heatran comes out, and I hope it's not Scarf. But if it is, that sucks. So we get the light screen off. Do we live? They go for rocks. I go for spin. They miss Magma Storm. I'm going to go for spin again. And they go into the spin blocker. Okay. I guess that means I have to go into Chomp or Breloom, both of which aren't terrible options here. I guess Breloom probably makes more sense because I actually exert some pressure. And they go for Will-O-Wisp, and I successfully avoid them with my skill. And now something has to eat a spore. And it is Dragonite. Unless they have Lumberry, which would not be very good. Okay. I believe I'm going to go back into Cryogonal. And then I'm going to make a double play into Breloom, anticipating the Jellicent to come through. And now that Jellicent is in, I'm going to go for Bullet Seed. And we do 20.5 to Dragonite with 3 hits. And we now get 2 hits. That is quite sad. Maybe Life Orb is not the greatest with Bullet Seed. However, now I think we have no chance but to go into Starmie. And we will see if they go into Jellicent. They do anticipate it. And you might ask, what do I do against this Jellicent? And my answer is, I have no idea. I am absolutely clueless. I'm now burnt. If they play with this thing correctly, it just beats my whole team. Luckily, they tried to scald me. And I don't think they have very good hazard removal. So I'm just going to get rocks up. They go into Fortress. Which allows me to go into Breloom. Because they don't know my set. And I clicked the wrong button. That was quite sad. But what can you do about that other than repent? I actually don't have. No, I look so smart here. I really don't know how we're going to beat the Jellicent. But one can dream, and also dream that they get 5 hits, and that they okay, that was bound to happen. I'm realizing there needs to be a Zapdos, probably in place of something else on this team, just because of the sheer oppression that Dragonite is right now. But we did get the Toxic off. They Will-O-Wisp my Cryogonal. My Cryogonal does not care. And I get Curse Bodied, which means that they are not water absorbed. And because they are not water absorbed, I know that Starmie can actually do something to this. I'm going to Rapid Spin like an absolute boss here. Oh my gosh. Some people consider me crazy for making plays like that. But for me, it's just a Monday. Da Vinci could win a lot of things here, and they have Rock's Heatran. And with the Reflect Up and the Light Screen, I believe we can go into Da Vinci. I still think we can do this with Da Vinci. Although they have a Heatran, it's not about the Heatran, but about if I can get +6 and they can do nothing to me. And miss Magma Storm. It is possible. I am bound to get status. I am status. I don't think this breaks. Skull. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm certainly in a position. They go into Heatran. Now they go into Heatran. I'm aware that my moves will do nothing. And I'm aware that I can go Starmie here. That's what I'm going to do. I'd like to mention, though, that we are aware of the fact that their Porygon or their Jellicent is not water absorbed anymore. And there's also a light screen up. I'm going to Scald the Heatran. Scald should 2-hit KO. And Trick Room really doesn't threaten what's going on right now. However, We should be faster anyways of what happens here, so I'm going to Scald. If they go into Jellicent, I know that you're curse-bodied. You can't stay in against this. They curse-bodied. Oh my gosh, Jellicent. Of course they curse-bodied, because they're not water absorbed. I will go for the Reflect. And sadly for Team Jellicent, they will eventually have to switch out. Which means their stay cannot be inevitably prolonged. However, I'm also in quite a peculiar spot. Where I'd like to rapid spin and wait for my curse body to go away. And I threaten something with the Scald after this. Because they are badly poisoned. I'm still Scald disabled? Oh my gosh, you are kidding me. Part of me wanted to make a switch there, but I realized that Starmie was actually in a great spot. Starmie is no longer disabled. So now is where we can Scald. And hopefully not get curse-bodied. They go into Fortress. We do 51. I will simply Scald again. Because they aren't Scarf. And they go back into Jellicent. Do they not understand the game that we're playing? Well, it seems we are playing a sort of game. On which I can go for Reflect again. I will sit this one out against you, Jellicent, and you will have to respect it. And I believe Jellicent dies here. I'm sorry, punishment? You went for punishment. They... Because the reflect was up.
This is that once in a lifetime.
Fraenel, you have realized that my reflect was up. And that you have made the incorrect play. What are you to do, Fraenel? Except to get scald burnt. Oh. How sad. So Starmie has perished. I have no play to click here, but extreme speed. The Weavile perishes. And we have somehow avoided rocks going up against the Volcarona and Dragonite. In comes Porygon 2. And as much as I'd like to go for Superpower here, I don't know if it would kill. However, I don't think that was the incorrect play. And the reason for that is a little tricky to explain. Cryogonal sadly perishes here. You've done well, Cryogonal. Done very well. I'd really like Volcarona to not get hacks here. I believe the way I lose here is if they go into Dragonite. And if they have a move with Dragonite that kills me. No, that's actually how they... See, their Heatran counters me, but they also know that they won't do enough right now to take out my Mon. They do go into Heatran. And I'm aware that nothing is actually going to hit anything with this Heatran, but they also don't have any recovery. So as they go for Magma Storm and do 34, I'm going to Quiver Dance once more. And as much as it pains me, I may have to Quiver Dance again. I'm going to Quiver Dance again. I don't need to see the damage, I just need to do as much as I can. And given how they do 20 to me, I'm probably going to do about the same amount back to them. And given how I'm at 24, this is the biggest hit that... So they go into Dragonite. And I click Fiery Dance, and we hope we get the Flame Body. The Flame Body does not proc. Which means that we lose. Unless they want to go for a speed tie and they have no defense, and that's not the case. A tragic outcome. However, it gave us some useful intelligence. One that a Pokemon master would have to reflect upon. And this information is about how Zapdos could replace Breloom here. Just kidding, Breloom was super useful that game and would have been great. And I really don't want to get rid of Breloom. So I might get rid of Dragonite instead. Just look at how stoic the Cryogonal is. You look at him from the back, look at him from the front, look at him from the side. Stoic. As we can see, the opponent's team is quite interesting. I'm leading Cryogonal regardless. They lead with Raikou. Cryogonal eats anything they give to it. It doesn't matter if it's coming off of a life orb. Cryogonal will eat it. Thunder does not harm the Cryogonal. And the opponent uses Volt Switch, getting out of the situation they found themselves in. Given how they had Thunder on Raikou, they likely have Icy Wind on this Jirachi. But no matter, because they also have a really weird defogger, that of Crobat. And their special Jirachi. So I'm just going to Earthquake them. They lived Earthquake with 4%. Would Dragging Tail kill? They're staying in. Who am I kidding? Why? What is happening? What is going on here? Into Raikou they go. My Breloom uses Mach Punch. And the Cryogonal is still standing. A well-played U-turn positions the opponent into a better position that I would have otherwise not expected. However, our absolute caretaker, Cryogonal, will now find this place. Just kidding. I don't know if I can... Zapdos is incredibly useful here. I pretty sure Breloom would live in Ice Shard at +2. I hope. Okay, perfect. They go for Icicle Crash. Guy the Cryogonal, your sacrifice will be noted. And the Breloom takes yet another Mach Punch kill. Will the opponent learn what Breloom does? And will their Infernape have Grass Knot? It seems it doesn't matter if they have grass not because I just got overheated on. That one did not feel the most rewarding, so we're gonna run another game back. An uber threat team we find ourselves placed against here. And the one who has to stand in the face of all of this despair is the chosen one, Cryogonal. Will the Garchomp successfully get rocks up against me? The answer is no. For Cryogonal gets a reflect up. In comes Tyranitar. I was thinking about the toxic play, and it seemed really good, but I figured rocks were better in pressure here. Now we have the reflect up. Cryogonal actually threatens a couple things with an ice beam here. Given their team composition, they have a probably an offensive Garchomp. Maybe all of their Mons are offensive. I think Starmie is a decent pivot here, and we can always go back into Garchomp if their damage is pretty high. I don't think a Thunderbolt should kill. Even, I mean, what, 9.6 resisted? Not resisted doing 20. Oh, we have light screen up. No, we don't have light screen up. I'm gonna go for Scald. And we get the burn. very nice. Probably go Zapdos here. We sadly do not have a light screen up. This is a very tricky spot, and Starmie is realizingly incredibly useful here. Probably just go into our own Zapdos. Um, Given how I'm timid, max speed, it's a speed tie, so it's tricky, but given Starmie's condition and some of the other things that are going on here, I figured Zapdos is more expendable, and that damage tells us that their Zapdos is bold or something like that. Now, we have no guarantee that their Tyranitar isn't Scarf. I don't believe we've had any information given to us that shows that they're not, so it seems that Garchomp is the safest move here. And they go for Crunch. Gonna go for Toxic this time. And they go to Starmie. You know they have Ice Beam. So I go to my own Starmie. They go to Scizor, Tyranitar. Given if they're adamant or not, Reflect could actually negate this Crunch from killing. And they go for Pursuit. Now is the revealer of if they're Scarf or not. Given how they pursued it again, I think it's safe to say that they are Scarf. So I'm going to go for the Scald and a Zapdos. Zapdos is going to take a lot from this. Zapdos died from it, which means they have no hazard removal anymore. Unless they have Defog Conkeldurr, which is an option. It certainly is. They go into the Tyranitar. I believe we know how this goes. Now, if this burns, they get burnt. They get burnt if it burns. Never let them tell you that a Starmie can't beat a Tyranitar. You can do anything that you put your mind to. How much did Scald do? It's a roll. I guess not. The -1 defense makes things a little interesting here. But I feel Guy has provided a lot of value at this point. And the value continues. And Guy gets his first kill of the video. Well, actually, Guy is genderless, but first kill of the video with Starmie. Or, not Starmie. Cryogonal. And they go for the roost. Leftovers, so they are a recovery set for the Scizor. Doesn't necessarily mean that they can do anything here. And they still have not revealed a move to hit the Starmie. So I don't see a reason not to go into it. They go back into Scizor. I believe Garchomp has served its role at this point. They go for Sword Stance. Do they know that I'm Dragon Tail? Sword Stance U-turn. So Starmie has now perished. But sadly they get to pick who they go into here. And it ends up being Garchomp. Who I can pretty safely get a Scald off on, but we'll go into... Oh my gosh. And you have seen it here first, folks. 6-0 with Cryogonal. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor.